Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And welcome back to the channel that brings power gaming to the next level. Today on the Doctor Spell Prognosis, we are talking about the spell Holy Aura. We're going to look at the pros. We're going to look at the cons. We're going to look at how to use it, what Cleric Domains probably complement or go well with it, or how it can fit in maybe some other spells. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I've got another video out. All right, Holy Aura. Holy Aura is an 8th level spell that is only usable by clerics. Bards could get this through magical secrets, but way, way, way far, 18th level. So they missed out on this spell at 14th level with magical secrets. It's possible. It is possible. All right. The spell is one action. It has a range of self, and it is a 30-foot radius around you, but there's a caveat to that. Verbal, somatic, and material component, and the material component does have a value. So it is a tiny reliquary worth at least 1,000 gold containing stuff. It's not consumed by the spell, which is good. So you can use this over and over and over again. It's just a costly focus, essentially. Spell lasts for a minute, requires concentration. You absolutely want to concentrate on this spell. We are giving this spell an A because of what it does, but if you are going to be taking this spell, you need to be at least a 15th level cleric to get this spell, or an 18th level bard. And so that means that there's not going to be a lot of dipping into other classes, because at this point we're starting to hit that place where we're getting ready to go to 20th level. But this, I've seen this spell in action. It's very powerful, and it gives the players a massive advantage. So divine light washes out from you and coalesces in a soft radiance in a 30-foot radiance in a 30-foot radius around you. Now that's kind of mechanic-y, and it's kind of flavor. It's light, and it's light from an 8th level spell. So that's important to note because of the way that light and darkness spells work. Creatures of your choice in that radius, when you cast this spell, shed dim light in a 5-foot radius and have advantage on all saving throws. So creatures of your choice when you cast this spell. So if you cast the spell and a creature is not within the 30-foot radius, then it is not going to be affected by this spell. And then you can choose who you want to affect by the spell within a 30-foot radius. So if you've got a creature in darkness, because it doesn't say creatures of your choice when you cast this spell that you can see. It just says creatures of your choice when you cast this spell. That's it. So if you've got a creature in darkness, or you've got a creature that's getting ready to go into darkness, that's an ally of yours, they will shed dim light within a 5-foot radius from an 8th level spell. So that's really important to understand. In addition, they have advantage in all saving throws, and all other creatures have disadvantage on attack rolls against them until the spell ends. So again, if they're outside the 30-foot radius when you cast the spell, they're not getting it. And then you can choose in the 30-foot radius who gets this, and it doesn't say that you can see. That phrase is not in there. In addition, when a fiend or an undead hits an affected creature with a melee attack, the aura flashes with brilliant light. The attacker must succeed on a con save or be blinded until the spell ends. That's awesome. That is totally awesome. Great. This spell is awesome against fiends and undead. A lot of fiends have darkness, so you can kind of work around that with this spell because it's an 8th level kind of light spell. Then they're going to be subjected to basically it's whenever they hit. Whenever they hit, as long as you're concentrating on the spell, they're going to have to be making saving throws. Now, con saves are not fantastic. A lot of creatures have very high con saves, but they're going to be making this save. If they do 3 attacks around and they hit 3 times, that's 3 saves. So chances are one of those dice eventually is going to hit below like a 10. Now, your save for this at this level should be probably around a 20, maybe a 19. If it's an 18, you should be thinking about what you need to do to get that back up to a 19. So, but eventually, there's not that many creatures that have like a plus 10. So if you have a 20 and they roll a 9 or less, they're going to take it. So some pros and cons to this spell. Pros, creatures you choose are getting advantage on saving throws. That is the big one. That's massive. So that will essentially almost virtually shut down most spellcasters and things like breath weapons. Particularly things like breath weapons. Half damage, and then if they've got some kind of resistance on top of that, those kinds of damage go away. Advantage on saving throws against spells that are save or end the combat type of spells like charms and things like that. This is a really good one too. They're shedding dim light, and this dim light is coming from an 8th level spell, which means it should work and it should dispel lower level darkness spells. It'll turn that darkness off. Enemies have disadvantage on all attack rolls until the spell ends. That is awesome, especially for your tanks in your party. This is a great support spell for the cleric to cast, and it makes those tanks at this level. I've seen some tanks like the Abjuration Wizard tank or some Artificer Armorer tanks where they can get up to a 30 armor class, walk with a shield spell. And then another great thing is versus the fiends and the undead, the blinding saving throw every time they hit is another one. But they may not actually be hitting because of the disadvantage. So some cons to this spell: it only affects the creatures when you cast it. Only when. So if they step into the 30-foot radius afterwards, then it doesn't work. But it's you wash, divine light washes out from you and coalesces in a soft radiance in a 30-foot radius around you. So there's like a soft light around you, 30-foot radius. But I'm going to guess that creatures don't need to stay within 30 feet of you after you cast a spell. They're affected. You just need to concentrate. It is a concentration spell. And then the material component is kind of costly. But at this level, you should be able to get a 1,000 gold piece item pretty easily. And it's not one that is consumed. All right. There's some things of note. You will need to be a 15th level cleric to cast this spell, or an 18th level bard with magical secrets. This, in my opinion, if we go here, this is the list. There's only 4 cleric spells that are listed in D&D Beyond of 8th level. And in my opinion, this is the best one. So, and clerics only get 1. So if we go up here to the cleric spell list, you only get 1 8th level spell slot. You only get 1. So this is probably the one I would take every time. Now, what domains do I think would go along with this? I think Forge Domain would go along with this because you might want to be a cleric that's wading into combat, which means you're going to be able to have heavy armor. You already get shields. And you're going to get a +1 to AC here. So, a high armor class when you're getting up close is good. I think Grave Domain is another one just because of the creature's vulnerability, curse ability at death's door. So you can turn off a crit. That's really powerful, especially if somebody rolls double 20s. You can make it doubly worse. Light Domain clerics, they get the ward ability, the warding flare, and at this level, you're going to be able to choose creatures within 30 feet. So, and you get the Radiance of the Dawn. Some of these are okay, some of these are not great. Peace Domain, I think, is probably one of the better ones. You get this D4 added. So this makes the advantage on saving throws even better because now they've got a D4 to add to that. You've got the protective bond, so that's a good one too. And then lastly, war. Again, a war domain cleric gets heavy armor. You get the guided strike, which you can use to bolster. And War God's Blessing, you get that. You can use that to bolster your tanks in combat or your other melee allies in combat who are affected by your holy aura. All right, well, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.